if you said to me, is there anything we've done as a movement, as a, I don't know if we're a thing or if we're all independents. I mean, I very much consider myself to be independent now, and proudly so. Nevertheless, sometimes you need to team up with people to get things done. Regardless of whether you're with someone or alone or whatever, you're all trying to work towards similar goals, similar beliefs. So if someone said to me, what have you achieved anything in this movement? I would definitely say, yeah. Brought a smile to people's faces at times, made people laugh at times, made people cry at times. Tried to give survivors some hope, some dignity, some closure. Try to help people in trouble where possible. Try to, help people more locally, but just being homeless and stuff like that. All kinds of things. So could I say it's been a massive success? I've helped everybody that I wanted to help and everything's gone perfect? No, definitely not. Definitely not. There's so much more I've wanted to do. Much more help I wanted to offer. And I'm still determined that if I can do it and not fall down, if I ever get to that stage, then that's exactly what I want to offer, is help to people. Not just people coming up doing the podcast. I mean, to people out there who are struggling, who are having a real hard time living in neighbourhoods where they're perhaps surrounded and frightened. Those kinds of situations, I want to be able to help them. And if you knew when I started working with Tommy the amount of emails and letters I used to get, you'd understand why it means so much to me. Some people out there are really desperate, and they're living surrounded by fear every single day. People who they're living in, like, I don't want to give anybody's identities away, but there's one guy, for instance, who's living in his parents' place. His parents died, they passed the property on to him, but whilst that was happening, his whole street changed, the demographic of his street changed. Now he's surrounded and gets basically hooligans with some kind of vandalism on his door every single day, and he can't do anything about it, and he's terrified. I don't know if that's still the case. I haven't spoken to him for a while, but that was the position he was in. And there's so many emails like that, so many. And this is why you have to ask the question that, okay, so I've said to you, yeah, there's been things that I've done in this movement that I feel have done some good. Great. But as I've also admitted, not enough. Not so great. So the question is, what as everybody, as a whole, all of us as the whole, have we managed to improve the country? No. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not our job. We're not government. We don't have that power. But I keep people hearing saying things like we're winning, stupid shit like this. And yet there's more people being knifed. There's more people coming over. You know the score. I don't need to tell you what you already know. And we have a socialist government. So in what way are we winning? In what way are we winning? Because here's what I see. I see a whole industry that's grown up on the back of suffering, which is what we are in the middle of. It's the monetization of misery. In capitalism, most things can be monetized. There's very few things that can't. Having a child can't be. And there's a couple of other things that can't be monetized, but most things can. Like depression can't really be monetized very well because people get depressed and they don't like hearing about it. But other than that, most things can be monetized. Misery can be monetized in the right way. Well, your misery is being monetized by some of the people that you watch. And some of them are out there and they feel just the same as you do. And they want change. They want things to change for the better. Some of the people you watch don't give a fuck. As long as the clicks keep coming in, the views keep coming in, and the money keeps coming in. Now, it's not just YouTubers and social media people like that. Governments are like that. Property owners are like that. Businessmen are like that. And the other demographics that are coming in from certain places are like that. So what does it leave us with? It leaves us with people telling us if anybody at the moment tells you that we're winning, question their sincerity and motive. Nobody said this over the last couple of days, by the way, but I'm just saying, question their sincerity and motive, because anybody that's got eyes at the moment should understand that we're in shit. And if someone says that we're winning, I would suggest to you that, or even if they try and defend this, like we're moving forward, I would suggest to you that they're quite happy treading water, staying right where we are. The other thing as well, people were happy with things that they know. We've now been in this state for years, in this state of fighting for a country. So it's what some people know. It's the only thing some people know. Is doing things this way, and they think that this way, coming on here and making these videos, is going to last forever, and they can keep getting clicks and views, popularity and money. Well, it won't. It won't. If we don't fix things, like, if people want to have YouTube channels, social media, stuff like that, great. But make videos about entertaining stuff. Let's fix our country so that we can go and do other stuff. A lot of people I know didn't get into this to do news. A lot of people I know, like myself, got into this to do comedy or to do much more artistic stuff. But we've ended up doing this because it's necessary. But like I say, and I think with some people, they don't even realise they've done it. But they're monetising misery. Now, again, I bring them up not to bash streamers again, but to say to you, if that's happening with them, imagine what's happening in the government's mind. They're worse, far worse than any streamer could be. Imagine what's going on in the businessman's mind, in the property people's mind. All these people, the bankers, everybody. They're all going to be quite happy with what's going on right now. They're going to be quite happy with what's going on. Which is what puts us on an island again. Once again, indigenous people on an island. Except the island that's being taken away from underneath their feet. We come round and round. So, you've got the government monetising our misery. You've got a lot of people out there, and this is the thing. So I support the movement, but all the political bollocks, Advance, I'm going to say it truthfully, Advance, UKIP, Reform, obviously I would see any of them as better than Starmer, of course. But I think they're all a load of bollocks. I've been guilt tripped by people my whole life about voting. Whenever I felt like a vote was useless or worthless, I've been guilt tripped about it. I've been told that oh, you have to vote because people died for your right to vote, and I've been guilt tripped into voting. But I countered that and I said, well, hang on a minute, where's my right to a vote of no confidence then? I don't have that. And I want that as my choice, because what if I don't, I'm voting based on who I hate the least and who I think will do the least damage. This was 20 years ago. I'm voting based on who I think will do the least damage to the country. That shouldn't be my criteria for voting. My criteria for voting should be who's going to make a positive change, who's going to run the country well, who's going to do really good for us, who's going to give us some hope. We don't have that in our elections. We're always, oh god, who's going to fuck up the least? That's always been the choice since that I remember. Never, the only one time, and this was manufactured by the state anyway, but the only one time I've ever seen any hope was actually when Tony Blair got in. But it was manufactured hope. A lot of it was faked, and people were paid off to, so it affected people. But that hope soon changed. Hope turned into hate pretty damn quickly. But generally speaking, we've always had to vote for the best of the worst. Yeah, that's not changed. So I mentioned monetising misery, not to have a go at streamers per se, but to say this is the environment we're in now. And I say, some people won't even realise, some people aren't even out to do evil to you. Some people are just used to this. Some people are just used to living like this, used to covering these stories, used to living in these places, and believe me, these people, like the auditors and stuff like that, what they do becomes addictive. Because there's an adrenaline rush. It becomes addictive. And then, and again, so it's not like I'm questioning their bravery or their motives, but I think that addictiveness starts to take over from the reason for doing it in the first place with some people sometimes. And then and the problem with that becoming an addiction is that when those hotels go away, you're gutted, when you should be celebrating. You see what I'm saying? People get used to it. We don't like, human beings don't like change. We're creatures of habit. We're pattern-seeking creatures. We're creatures of habit. We don't like change. None of us like to admit that. We like to consider ourselves to be adaptable. And we are adaptable, but only when we have to be. Human beings don't like change, which is why you can talk someone up to the point of happiness. And they know that they've got to make a big change in order to get happiness. And they'll go straight back into misery again because the change is more scary than the misery that they're already in. This is a well-known thing about people. Change is very, very difficult for us. And if we can make it, we'll always be glad that we did. But it's getting us to make that change. So we've got to be aware of this. When we're watching these things, I think Captain on this channel, he was talking about people provoking people. And that's what it turns into. People end up going provoking people because this adrenaline rush, this spike. It's why, I always back off and try and do things like a normal human being. But covering all this stuff, going and do all this stuff, sometimes it can be fun, I'll be honest with you. But it's something that I hoped that I wouldn't still be doing now, and that anybody wouldn't have to be doing now on the same level, because you hoped we might actually start winning. We're not winning at all. We've won no ground. We've got no closer to having a functioning democratic government. We're no closer to having anybody decent in power. We're no closer to having the people sovereign again. We're no closer to being out of Europe. We're no closer to stopping the replacement of our people. We're no closer to stopping people coming in the country. We're no closer to making the streets safer. We're no closer to fixing the economy. We're no closer to sorting out the prices of food and stuff. We're no closer to providing housing. And I could go on. We're no closer to providing enough water for our people in this country. We run out of water. So, and I could go on and on and on. National Health Service that's overstretched. It just, the list goes on and on. So tell me where we're winning. The media has been taken over. The computer games industry, the comic industry, every single industry with a voice has been taken over by them. So again, the teaching industry, the campuses, the colleges, the churches. Again, you tell me where we're winning. Spiritualist groups, all leftists, all of them. Most of the church has gone left. You tell me where we're winning. And the reason I say this is not to have a go at anybody, or not to like bring anybody down. It's to like get a sense of realism. It's like, let's take stock of where we are right now. We're not winning. People out there that say we are, they probably mean they're winning because they're getting loads of clicks and that at the moment. We're not winning. We're losing. Or at least things aren't going well. And we need to fight, not to carry on, but we need to fight to win. Not to just carry on doing the same thing. Because yes, it can be fun doing this sometimes. When you've got a lot of viewers and you're going out and then you're doing stuff, it can be fun. There's no two ways about it. But it's not a perpetual future. We need to get out of this, because while we're having fun, people are suffering, and that's the thing never to forget. You've got to be lighthearted in some ways, otherwise the weight of it all will drag you down. So it's understandable to enjoy it, to make a joke of it, because otherwise it would be too heavy material. That's true. But at the same time, don't enjoy it too much, because you might end up not wanting it to stop. That's what worries me. And when I hear people talking about victory, I think, what victory? When I hear people talk about how the worm's turning, well, the worm is kind of turning, but they talk as though we're on the cusp of winning something. All I see is, if something happened tomorrow and there was a general election and our parties, if you like, got in, all I see is that is a potential. That's it, just a potential. And that would take a lot just to get that to happen. But the media are failing us at the moment as well. And this is the big thing. If you remember Jeremy Corbyn, he held on to power. Not power, but power of his party. Long past where he should have done. But you remember the amount of media pressure they put on him. And the media pressure they've put on prime ministers. And they've made them quit. The media have made them quit. Starmer's ignoring all these petitions and everything else. He's ignoring his people. He's working without a manifesto. And the real truth of it is that Starmer probably would be gone by now if the media made a meal out of the human rights, the ignored petitions, the non-action over grooming gangs, everything. If they put it all together and really hit this government hard with constant stories, they could get them out. They've done it with people before. And what happens is, once the media start having a go at them, really putting the pressure on, then people within their own party start putting the pressure on. The opposition party puts the pressure on. But no, that's not what we're going to get here. That's not what we're going to get here. So, yeah, you know, there is no victory other than victory. Views and stuff isn't a victory. A demo where we are still standing there claiming that we've reclaimed the streets isn't reclaiming the streets. And whilst I'm not someone who particularly believes in politics, unfortunately, it is the way that runs the world. Politics at the moment is broken. It needs to be hollowed out. The people need to be ripped out of there, to be honest, and replaced. The whole system needs replacing. Not with a new system, just with a clean one. With a non-corrupt engine, where everybody in there understands they are for the people. The people are sovereign. This lot all think they're above that. And it's time they got a reminder, one way or the other. I'm Tom Fury, this is your news. I'm calling it a day for now.